This chapter covers my arrival at Fernley Park for dinner, a series of tense social encounters, and a private, disturbing conversation with Roger Ackroyd that culminates in a shocking revelation just before his death. It was just a few minutes before 7:30 when I rang the front doorbell of Fernley Park.
Doorbell rings, then a heavy door opens.
Parker, the butler, relieved me of my overcoat. Just then, Ackroyd's secretary, Geoffrey Raymond, passed through the hall.
Good evening, Doctor. Coming to dine, or is this a professional call?
I expect a summons to a confinement case at any moment, so I came prepared.
Go into the drawing room. The ladies will be down in a minute. I'll tell Mr. Ackroyd you're here.
I crossed to the drawing room door. Just as I was turning the handle, I heard a sound from within.
A soft, distinct click, like a lid closing.
I opened the door and almost collided with Miss Russell, who was just coming out.
Oh, Dr. Shepherd, I do beg your pardon.
For the first time, I found myself thinking, what a handsome woman she was. Her dark hair was unstreaked with gray. She had a color in her cheeks and was breathing hard, as if she'd been running. I'm afraid I'm a few minutes early.
Oh, I don't think so. It's gone 7:30. I didn't know you were expected to dinner tonight. Mr. Ackroyd didn't mention it.
Her tone suggested my dining there displeased her. How's the knee?
Much the same, thank you, Doctor. I only came in here to see if the flowers were all right.
She passed quickly out of the room. I strolled to the window. They were long French ones, opening onto the terrace. The sound I had heard couldn't have been a window shutting. My eye was caught by a silver table. I crossed to it and, wanting to examine a jade figure, I lifted the lid. It slipped through my fingers and fell.
Sound of a wooden lid falling shut with a soft thud.
That was it, the same sound. Someone had just shut this lid. I was still bending over it when Flora Ackroyd came into the room. She has the most extraordinary fairness. Pale gold hair, blue eyes, skin like cream and roses. A simple, straightforward English girl. The genuine article takes a lot of beating.
You haven't congratulated me yet, Dr. Shepherd. Haven't you heard?
She held out her left hand. On the third finger was an exquisitely set single pearl.
I'm going to marry Ralph, you know. Uncle is very pleased. It keeps me in the family, you see.
My dear, I hope you'll be very happy.
Sound of rustling fabric.
Just then, Mrs. Ackroyd rustled in. I am sorry to say, I detest Mrs. Ackroyd. She is all chains and teeth and bones. A most unpleasant woman.
My dear Dr. Shepherd, have you heard about Flora's engagement? So suitable. The dear young things fell in love at first sight. I can't tell you the relief to a mother's heart. I was wondering, you are such an old friend of dear Roger's. There are so many tiresome things, settlements, you know. I wondered if you could just sound him on the subject.
Her eloquence was cut short as Major Hector Blunt entered the room. He's a big game hunter, a man of medium height, mahogany-colored face, and peculiarly expressionless.
How are you, Shepherd?
He then stood squarely in front of the fireplace, looking as though he saw something interesting happening in Timbuktu. Soon after, Ackroyd and his secretary joined us, and Parker announced dinner. Dinner was not a cheerful affair. Ackroyd was visibly preoccupied. He looked wretched and ate next to nothing. Immediately after, he slipped his arm through mine and led me off to his study.
Once we've had coffee, we shan't be disturbed again. I told Raymond to see to it.
As Parker entered with coffee, Ackroyd sank into an armchair.
I've had a return of that pain after food lately. You must give me some more of those tablets of yours.
I thought as much. They're in my bag in the hall. I'll get them.
Don't you trouble. Parker will get them. Bring in the doctor's bag, will you, Parker? Not yet. Wait. Don't you see I'm in such a state of nerves I can hardly contain myself? Make certain that window's closed, will you?
I went to it. The heavy curtains were drawn, but the window itself was open at the top. I closed it and put the latch across. Parker had just left the room.
I'm in hell. Shepard, nobody knows what I've gone through. My house has fallen in ruins about me. Shepard, you attended Ashley Farrar's in his last illness. Did you never suspect that he might have been poisoned?
I'll tell you the truth. At the time, no. But since my sister's idle talk put the idea into my head, I have no foundation for that suspicion.
Key was poisoned by his wife.
How do you know that?
She told me so herself. Yesterday, she confessed everything. Her hatred of her husband, her love for me, and the dreadful means she had taken. And there is one person who has known all along, who has been blackmailing her for huge sums.
Who was the man? Suddenly, the picture of Ralph and Mrs. Farrar's rose before my eyes, their heads close together. Surely not.
She wouldn't tell me his name. She asked for 24 hours, made me promise to do nothing. She said I would hear from her. My God, Shepard, I never imagined she meant to. Suicide! And I drove her to it.
No. The responsibility for her death doesn't lie at your door.
But what about the scoundrel who drove her to it? Is he to go scot-free? Look, suppose we leave it like this. If no word comes from her, we'll let the dead things lie.
I have the strongest impression that somewhere, somehow, she must have left a message for me.
Door opens quietly.
Parker entered with the Evening Post on a salver. My attention came back to Ackroyd. He was staring like a man turned to stone and a long blue envelope.
Her writing, she must have posted it last night, just before.
Sound of an envelope being ripped open.
You're sure you shut the window? All this evening I've had a queer feeling of being watched, spied upon. What's that?
A faint click from the door latch.
I went to the door and opened it. There was no one there.
Nerves. My dear, my very dear Roger, a life calls for a life. So I am taking the only road open to me. I leave to you the punishment of the person who has made my life a hell upon earth for the last year. I propose to write it to you now. Shepard, forgive me, but I must read this alone. It was meant for my eyes only.
No, read it now. At least, read the name of the man. But Ackroyd is essentially pig-headed. All my arguments were in vain. It was just on 10 minutes to 9 when I left him, the letter still unread. I hesitated, then passed out and closed the door. Parker was close at hand. He looked embarrassed, and it occurred to me that he might have been listening. I told him Mr. Ackroyd was not to be disturbed.
Village church clock chimes 9 in the distance.
As I passed through the lodge gates, I almost cannoned into a man.
This the way to Fernley Park, mister? I'm a stranger in these parts, you see.
These are the lodge gates here. The odd thing was that his voice reminded me of someone's, but I couldn't think whose. 10 minutes later, I was home. At 10:15, as we went up to bed, the telephone rang.
Telephone rings loudly and insistently.
What? Certainly, I'll come at once.